guys, welcome back to another YouTube video here today. And today we are going over my brand new cash build. Now this build is using the new trainer class mod. I actually made a few builds with these. I made a build with GLOAM and we made a build without GLOAM because I wanted to do one with GLOAM because I figured this class mod would be a lot of fun with GLOAM. So this is the build we did without GLOAM. So what we are using in this one, we are using 3 in dealer's buff and 4 in the wilds. All you really need is 1 in dealer's buff, so you could run into 5 in the wilds and some in the other skills. But you could run, or you could run 4-2, 5-2 with dealer's buff if you'd like. You really only need 1, but 5 in the wilds would be ideal with this. But all right, this is our best one. We have 1 to 5 in the wilds, but that's pistol damage, so that's not too great. So we're using this one because it has skill damage on it, and skill damage on it really good. You're gonna want skill damage for this. This is really nice. And then we're using a enrage and amp rep kit here. And then we're using the crit knife on bosses so we can get guaranteed crits. And we're using the triple amp guardian angel. This is really good. Then we're using a order enhancement because it has gun damage, gun critical damage, and assault rifle critical hit damage. And then we're using 3 active fire, so we get 10% more weapon damage, more weapon charge rate, and 100% more damage dealt in full charge weapon in 0.5 seconds. So you basically got to charge and shoot instantly to get the damage. And then we're using 2 in skillcraft to get more skill damage and skill critical hit chance. This is really good. And then for our guns, for the takedown, we are using the Stray with Jacobs and SMG. This is which is going to get you through the takedown the fastest, and this will get you platinums. And then you're going to want to use the crow source at the end. You're going to want to use the strongest crow source that you have. So you're going to want to use your best crow source that you have for the character. That is going to be your best option for Terra. And then you're going to want, if you have a fire one, swap to the fire one when you get to the fire face, so you can do even more damage to the fire face. And then you can use the sunspot on some bosses that you can get pretty close to. But the sunspot I don't recommend for Terra because it's not going to do a whole lot because you're not going to be able to get close enough for it to even hit them. But this is really good on a lot of bosses though, that you can get up and close and personal. And then for the skill tree now, this is what we're doing for the skill tree. We're using 5 in charm bracelets. You get 15% more skill damage and 20% more skill damage per bone totem thrown. And then we're using luck be robots. You get more action skill cooldown rate. This is good. 3 in O Fortuna. So you get more elemental effect chance and more elemental damage. And then we put 1 in Devil Tines. So you get another augment slot. This is really good. And then we put 1 in Luckless. So you can jinx enemies when you activate an action skill near enemies. And then we put 1 in Can't Stop Winning. So you get more gun critical chance. 4 in Turn of Fate. So you get lifesteal, 36% damage dealt. 2 in Fortune's Favor, so you get more gun damage and skill damage per overshoot you have. Then we put 1 in a Cursed Bone, so when you throw your action skill can damage an enemy. They can also jinx that enemy, which is really good. Plus, it gives you a little bit extra lifesteal. And then we're using 5 in Tormented, so you get 20% more critical damage, and you get an additional 30% more critical damage against jinx enemies, and you're always jinxing enemies when you're throwing your dice. And then we're using 5 in Graveyard Shift, so you get action skill cooldown rate per 35% per jinx enemy, which is really good. Because you're going to want all the action skill cooldown rate you can when you're not able to get your fortune stacks during the takedown. Because when you're in the middle of Windfall and you hit max fortune stacks with this setup, obviously you're not going to have any more action skill cooldown from dealer's buff. So you're going to want much action skill cooldown as you can. And then we're putting 1 in Call. Whenever Cash activates his action skill, and he and his bone totems automatically critically hit jinx enemies. So when you're activating your bone totems all the time, you're automatically critically hitting jinx enemies. So every enemy that is being jinxed, you're automatically critting, which is really good. And then our class mod puts 4 in here. It puts 4 in the wild. In the future, when this do a level gap increase, we will put more points into here and come down to here. As of right now, we are not putting any points in this, but what this does is while Windfall is active, Cash and his companions deal random bonus elemental damage, and this gives you up to 24% more elemental damage. The reason we are not putting more points in this because we want to get over to Vigorish and while using infinite crit, so we can do way more damage. So that's the reason we're not putting more points in here. And then we're putting 3 in fast hands, so you get more reload speed, up to fortune stacks, and then you get windfall chance when you reload. You get load, so that's really good. Insurance, shield capacity for more fortune stacks, and this one in alchemy is also for just more fortune stacks. And they're using 4 in sounds of rain. You get more fortune skill, gains a critical chance with guns, extra skill, and ordnance. The more fortune stacks you gain, the greater the bonus. 5 in trick taker. Fortune skill cast gains increased elemental damage. The more fortune stacks he has, the greater the bonus. We put 1 in double time, so we grab an extra augment. I'll explain the augments here in a moment. And then we're using 5 in high roller. You get up to 30% more gun damage, the more action skill cooldown you have. This is really good. And then we're using 5 in vigorish. Vigorish is very important here. You get up to 35% bonus of damage dealt with bonus random elemental damage, which is really good. And then for the augments, we were using 5 is alive, so we get 4 charges, which is really good. And then we're using Mighty 9. So you can use Mighty 9, so you have a chance of proccing Groundbreaker when you shoot in your gun. So when you're throwing the dice, if you roll a 9, your gun will shoot Groundbreaker, which will be really, really cool. Really, really cool. And then we're using Dirty Dozen, so when you throw your dice, you gain fortune stacks when you're throwing the dice, which is good here. And then for the specializations, we are using the best defense. So you get 30% more damage dealt when shields are full. We're using tripwire. So you get ordnance cooldown rate. This is not super important. If you want to use the Hemdall, though, you can. Hemdall is not spammable at the takedown, but you can use it. So if you don't want to use the Hemdall for this build because it is not spammable, I would recommend swapping this to 1 shot, 1 kill. Or you can even swap to because your actions kill 50% of your gun damage bonuses. Your totems do a bit more damage. Even though your totems are terrible at targeting stuff, you could do that. Or you could do a little bit more damage reduction. It's really up to you. The ordnance cooldown isn't really that important though, but you can use it. You can spam the Hemdall with it. But the straight is your best friend for the takedown. I hope you guys enjoying all these build videos and stuff. I love making builds and stuff, and I really appreciate everybody that's been supporting the channel. I just want to take a minute to say this. The support has been actually insane, and we didn't even fully charge there. Oh, well, it went away too fast. I was gonna show you guys the damage there. Let me put the change it in the vertical. Alright, here we go. Here goes the damage. I'm gonna fully charge it though, so. There we go. So that one did 15 million, but in total we did what? What, 53 million? Can't see it because the fucking dice in the way. I don't see it because the dice in the way. Yeah, it looks like 53 million. Yeah, that's Jesus. That's insane. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.